Hey YouTube, Sam here. Well, we're under the hood of the 02 Buick Rendezvous, and it's having an overheating problem. I talked about it in my introduction video. If you want to hear the story about it, you can go check that out in the introduction to the 02 Buick Rendezvous. Boy, I have trouble saying that. But when I'm driving around, it's fine. It's when I'm in slow traffic or stop and go kind of traffic that it heats up. But then you turn the air conditioning on, everything's hunky-dory. And the reason for that is the air conditioning in these cars, newer cars that I know of, which I just did research and found this out myself. It confused me. But when you turn the air conditioning on, it turns your fan on automatically. So it has two fans, and I believe one kind of always works, but the other one needs a sensor, which kind of relate yourself. We're at the front of the car here, top of the motor there's where you put your oil in at, your oil dipstick right here. Keep going this way over by the light here, down by your throttle cable linkage stuff here, and right underneath that you can kind of see a little sensor with a couple wires coming out of it, and I believe that is what we're needing to change out. Now, I watched a couple of these and people tore the crap out of these cars trying to get to that, and it doesn't look that hard. I hope I don't eat my words. So we're going to go ahead and pull that out, and hopefully that will fix this problem. Here is the sensor out of the box here. Looks pretty good. It's pretty heavy. Yet again, I got it on Amazon for way less than the parts store charge for it. It is made in China, but so is the parts store one probably. Alright. There is one of the numbers that's on there, and hopefully you can read it. Anyway, it wasn't very expensive. I can't remember how much it was, but I do know it was a lot cheaper on Amazon. First thing I need to do is reach down in there somehow and unplug that from the plug. Alright, so I was able to pull the sensor out. Now, it's upside down right now. This is on the top, and this flips around this way. And I just got underneath there with the screwdriver and just kind of pried up on this a little bit carefully, and then pulled back on it, and it popped right out, real simple like. So I'm going to sit that out of the way to the side over here, and we need to go down in here and get this. Now, and I know a lot of times I preach, you know, remove things, get them out of your way. If they're in your way, get them out, kind of thing. But, you know, if you have the right tools, it's better to go buy a cheap set of whatever you want, a cheap set. I would say go grab Harbor Freight. But, you know, these aren't Harbor Freight tools, but they weren't expensive tools either. They're just old Craftsman. The biggest thing is these long extension bars. Pick those up. Get some of those. They help a lot. Anyhow, so we got a deep well 19mm socket. Fits right over this. The long extension in my ratchet. We're hoping. Oh yeah, no problem. It just coming out like butter. Hopefully everything. Something always goes wrong. We all know this. Whoa, kind of like fluid coming out of there. Not expecting that. Okay, well, too late. It came out. I tried putting it back in and there's fluid leaking. I gotta go get a bucket. Old one. I'm sure there's a way to test and see if this is working, but I'm pretty positive this is the problem. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stick this in. It was cheap at least, so hopefully there won't be any problem. Everything looks alright. Now, I saw some people were putting Teflon tape on these, but it comes with its own goop on there, and it appears that this one just had whatever came on there, so I'm going to run with it, put it in. If I have leaks, I'll tell you about it. I don't know how well this is going to work, but I tried putting this in here to put it down in there, and it goes down in there too far, so I can't get any threads on it. So what I found, probably shouldn't be touching the tip of that too much. 1/2-inch socket fits down in the 19mm socket and allows that to stick up where I can get threads in it. And the hard part is actually holding it in there until I get it down that far without everything falling out. So it's the whole mother and ingenuity thing. Good old electrical tape around the 1/2 inch socket, which is going to go inside, going around this. Making sure you're not really putting it so tight that it's not going to come back out. And I made sure there's that little nib right there, that the tape goes under that instead of over it so it doesn't fight with it. Throw that down in the socket. The tape seems to help it some hold in there. So hopefully we'll come out with everything all said and done here working, but we'll see. You will see. And make sure you don't cross thread it. I'm going to go backwards first. Seems to be a good way of making sure your threads line up, and then I'm just going to slowly go forward. Now if I could get in there by hand, I'd way rather do that, but it does not seem to be wanting to go in, so. And I went in there and I actually put a swivel head on there and just carefully put it in there by hand. I think I have it. As you can see, the socket is still on there. I'm going to try and kind of grab a hold of it and pull that off of there. And I'm going to keep trying this by hand to make sure it goes in good and straight. Well, confession time. I really thought I might have cross-threaded this thing in here. Turns out I looked at them. That's something you want to do. You want to compare the parts. I did look at the parts and compare the parts. But this one, the threads kind of go all the way up on it, and the other one has like a shoulder. So you're not going to get, at least with my part, I'm not going to get it all the way to where that thread is again. All the way up to the top, because try and pull this out with these, because there is a shoulder on the other one that is not on this one. So I'm going to tighten it to the point where it feels snug, and where it's on the top, the little thing here, getting it sideways. So quite honestly, I'm going to back it off and really hope that that sealant works. I'm actually going to go down, so I believe the plug should work that way. I'm going to put the plug in actually so it's on the bottom, which next time if I have to pull it out would make it easier. Hoping I didn't screw something up here. We'll see. Yet again, I am no expert at anything I do. I didn't even know this existed on this car until I did my research. So, as far as that's concerned. Now we got the plug down in here, and we're just going to try and plug it in. Maybe not. I don't want to break the wires either. That would be just as bad or worse than just about anything else. So this is the crappy part, trying to get these things on and off. If I knew that this wouldn't be a complete pain in the butt, I think you pretty much have to take the whole entire throttle body assembly off, which is what I've seen people do, and I can see kind of why they do it. But this is one of those places where I think you just start opening up more cans of worms when you start doing that kind of stuff. So I am kind of fighting it a little bit to try and do it. I should have listened to my gut and not tried that one more turn. I think I'm going to have to back it off a little bit and hope and pray that I don't end up with a coolant leak here. If I do, worst case scenario, I end up putting the Teflon tape on like everybody says, or like other people have done. So now that's in there that way, I'm going to just plug her on in. I'm going to get my little needle nose pliers that I have here and see if that helps me maneuver things around a little bit here. I'm not poking it really, I'm just kind of getting it to the point where it'll go into that. And then I will use something else to maneuver it in there. Hopefully my fingers will do, but if I can get my fat fingers in there. There we go. And it clipped. Alright, well YouTube, as you can see I don't have the car with me. It's actually being driven right now. And the reason why sometimes like I'll end these videos this way is because I like to drive the car and make sure that what I fixed on it actually fixed the problem. In this case it actually didn't. It still seemed like it was having an overheating problem when you were stopped at lights and idling and that kind of stuff. So that doesn't seem to have fixed the problem. Although it didn't seem like it was getting quite as hot, it still seemed like it was getting somewhat hot. So I might have had a couple problems. But after that, I went ahead and replaced the thermostat, and that seems to have fixed the problem. So I'll have a video coming up on that, so go check that one out. So anyhow, obviously it doesn't always work what I do, but this also, I'm going to put the video up because it is how you replace it. It is how that part works and what you need to do if that is your problem. I don't have all the diagnostic stuff. I've had this in the past. Oh, you're just a parts replacer. You're not a, you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, here's the deal. To go in, have somebody look at that, just to have them diagnose it would probably cost me a couple $100. And that doesn't include fixing it. So if I have to put $10 part here and a $10 part there, I'm going to go ahead and put new parts in the car and fix the problem rather than take it in and have it diagnosed. I don't have the equipment to diagnose. I know the basics. I know what parts do what. I do my research like I did with this one, and this seemed like a good place to go. It was a $10 part. I replaced it. It didn't really work. But on the other hand, I didn't spend a bunch of money having somebody else not fix it. So you can choose to do what you want to do. But anyhow, I thought I would go ahead and put this out here even though it didn't work. For my personal problem, it might for yours. And like I said, the thermostat did work for it, and the thermostat sucks to do in this car. But go check out that video. If this doesn't fix yours, that'd be your next step as far as I'm concerned. Could also be some relays that are in the car. I tested all the relays. I honestly can't remember if I did a video on that. I was kind of in a hurry to get it done, trying to figure things out. So there are videos out there on doing that as well. Alright, this is Sam, Jack of all, and obviously Master of none. You all have a good one.